Well, that was dramatic. Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome to my Let's Play of Metroid Fusion. This game came out in 2002 for the Game Boy Advance. It was the first of the two Game Boy Advance Metroid titles. It is, as of this recording, still the latest game in the Metroid series, chronologically speaking. If you're not familiar with the Metroid timeline, the original Metroid or Metroid Zero Mission is the first game, and there's a manga that comes before that, but that's the first game in the series. And then the Prime Trilogy comes next, so that's Prime, Prime Hunters, Prime 2, Prime 3, and then Federation Force. The series creator, Yoshio Sakamoto, has tried to kind of make the Prime games not canon, but most people still put them on the timeline anyways, so they're pretty much generally accepted as canon to the main storyline. And then after the Prime Trilogy comes Metroid 2 Return of Samus, or Samus Returns, Super Metroid, Other M, and then this game. So it's been 16 years and counting that we've been waiting for a follow-up to this game, and who knows when we're actually going to get that. We don't know when Prime 4 is going to be on the timeline yet, so it's been announced, but we have really no idea what's going on with it. Getting into the actual Let's Play itself, like my other Metroid Let's Plays, I'll be going for 100% on this. It might actually surprise, some people to learn that I don't speedrun this game. So I'm not going to say this is going to be, super casual. I'm still going to be trying to play it fast, but, just know that I won't have as much speedrun tech or knowledge to speak about this time around. It should be shooting for about under 2 hours somewhere for the in-game time. We'll see how that works out. But I'm not going to sit here on the title screen for too long. I want to jump into it, and I'll talk a bit more about the game, while I'm actually playing it. That's what a Let's Play is. So I'll be starting on a completed save data here, so I'm going to be starting over, and that has some perks that I'll get into in a little bit. But for now, let's get this ball rolling. I'd been assigned to watch over Biologics research team, so I once again found myself on the surface of SR-388. It was there that I was attacked by a life form I had never encountered before. It was only later that I learned the identity of my attacker, the parasitic organism we now know as X. Unaware of my condition, I was returning to the station when disaster struck. Once the X had infested my central nervous system, I lost consciousness and my ship drifted into an asteroid belt. The ship's emergency systems automatically ejected the escape pod before impact. Biologics vessel recovered it and transported me to Galactic Federation HQ. However, during the journey, the X multiplied within me, corrupting large areas of my power suit. It then came to light that the organic components of my power suit had become so integrated with my system that it could not be removed while I was unconscious. Large portions of my suit had to be surgically removed, dramatically altering my physical appearance. However, the X in my central nervous system were too embedded to be removed safely. I was given a minimal chance of survival. Then, someone found a cure. They proposed using a Metroid cell to make an anti-X vaccine. It seemed that the Federation had managed to preserve a cell culture from the last infant Metroid from SR-388. The serum was prepared and injected without delay. The X-parasites were immediately and completely destroyed. As for me, one life ended, yet I survived reborn. As something different. Pondering this fact, I realize I owe the Metroid hatchling my life twice over. We'll soon be arriving at the BSL research station. I must prepare for docking. The ship's computer has notified me of our approach to the Biologic Space Labs, or BSL research station. During my surgery, the research team sent the last batch of creatures we captured there, as well as the infected pieces of my power suit. After regaining consciousness, I learned that an unexplained explosion rocked the station. For some reason, this awoke a nameless fear in my heart, and I am now being sent there to investigate. My mission on the BSL station will be overseen by my new ship's computer. Following the commands of this blunt computerized CO is something I have to bear, as it was the condition of my taking the ship. For someone who dislikes taking orders, this is the second time I've found myself having to do so. It makes me recall my other CO. There's been an explosion in the quarantine bay. The bay currently stores capsules containing recent samples from SR388, as well as parts of your suit infected by the X-parasites. The cause of the explosion is as yet unclear. Investigate. The quarantine bay is here. Move quickly and quietly. You are still unable to use most of your latent abilities. Don't forget that, Samus. Stop in the navigation room on the way, uplink from there. Is your objective clear? Now go to the quarantine bay. So, something you'll probably notice right off the bat is that this game is a lot more story-based than any of the previous 2D Metroids, for sure, and, you know, same thing applies to the Prime games, too. I mean, those had a little bit more story than the 2D Metroid titles, but you'll soon find out that this game is very heavy on the story, and as a result, is one of the more linear Metroid games out there. It's probably not the most linear. That award would probably go to Other M, but it's close. The quarantine bay is ahead. Biosigns are confirmed. Be careful. So I'm going to try not to gloss over the story all the time, but yeah. So, I mean, this game's going to be pretty linear, which is one of the reasons why I don't really, speedrun it or replay it quite as much as some of the other titles. And so they made a lot of design decisions, as you'll see, that, make it difficult to do sequence breaks. And there are other elements of the design that influence that as well. This is unfortunate news. The specimens brought back by the field team were infected by X-parasites. The X can mimic its prey. Any specimen could have hosted it. Before the explosion, the security sensor scanned one. The gelatinous X-parasites invade and rapidly reproduce, killing the host creature. They also absorb DNA and use it to mimic the host. You are almost killed by an X infection. Only the Metroid vaccine saved your life. It seems Metroids were the main predators of the X. That's why the vaccine worked so quickly and so well. But it also has changed your cellular makeup. You will never be infected by X again. In fact, you can now absorb any free-floating X-parasites without a host by merely touching them. This will allow you to replenish your health and restore weapons. You may also restore latent abilities this way, so pursue free X-parasites whenever you possibly can. This station is home to many species, some violent ones. You must keep the X out of the breeding environments at all costs. This is vital, Samus. I am already detecting massive biosigns in this region. The X are gathering. This may be our chance to exterminate them, but you are only at 10% battle capacity. Your chance of survival is extremely low. The Federation needs you alive and on duty, Samus. Is your objective clear? Now get going. I've released the lock on level 0 hatches. Look for the blinking hatches. So, one of the ways that they force linearity on you is with the security hatches. So, there are technically 5 if you count 0 as a level of hatch, and the only way to open those hatches is through these dedicated security rooms. So you have to go to those rooms to unlock those doors, and so a lot of the doors you just can't get through until the game wants you to. I have received news from HQ. They can support you with downloadable weapons data. Once you have this data, you'll be able to use the missiles. This will help against some enemies your beam can't hurt. Head to the data room for the download. The data room is here. Is your objective clear? With missiles, your chance of survival climbs to 20%. And one of the other things that this game does is that it will point you to where you need to go a lot of the time. So you'll be seeing a lot of those navigation rooms throughout the course of the game, and usually they'll give you some sort of pointer to head towards. That computer reminds me of a gruff Federation commander I served under named Adam Malkovich. He called me lady on missions. From anyone else, it would have sounded sarcastic, but Adam made it sound dignified. Out of respect and with some irony, I named the computer after him. So, Zero Mission kind of does that too with the Chozo statues, but at the very least, some of those you can skip, and of course, I don't know why I'm heading for that door. I don't need to go in that door. But yeah, so you can skip some of them, and of course, there's a lot more in the way of secrets breaking to do in that game. So we're grabbing ourselves our first missiles here. One key difference as far as the item percentage goes between this game and some of the other Metroid games is that the major upgrades, like the missiles that we get here or the morph ball or whatever, they don't count towards the item percentage. So that is a difference. But anyways, electrical interference has knocked out the elevators on the main deck. This may be related to the X. I'll work on it. As for you, try to find another way to the target. It's located here. I'm reading huge bio signs, so I hope your missiles work. To reload missiles, you can use a recharge room or absorb a special type of X-parasite. You'll see them. Try it out. Is your objective clear? Missiles are your only hope. Don't hesitate to use them. Now find a way to the target. So yeah, the only things that actually count towards your percentage in this game are expansions. So energy tanks, missile tanks, power bomb tanks. So we're gonna get on our way here. The orange X-parasites there, or yellow, or whatever you want to call them, they're kind of goldish. Those will replenish 10 health. The computer was telling us about green X-parasites, which will replenish your missiles. And those are, well, there is one more type, well, technically two. I'm backpedaling a lot here. There's one more type of X-parasite that we'll be encountering in just a moment here. And that is the red X-parasite. So, in case you didn't know where my channel name came from, that is it. So, this eye door here is being very uncooperative. This is random. So, there I am. Woo! If I really felt up to it, I could count how many X-parasites appear, but we'll see. The X-parasites, they don't actually replenish all of your health and energy. I don't remember exactly how much it is. Future me can probably put it up on the screen, but most of the time they'll get you back up to full on your missiles and energy, as long as you're not too low. So we've got our first mini boss here. This is Arachnus. So the general strategy is you want to jump over that slashing attack, as well as if it charges towards you on the wall. And then it also has that fireball attack. I don't really get to talk much about the Core X there, but we'll be seeing plenty of those, so I can talk more about those in the future. So there are these things on the wall that you can hang on to, but if you know how to wall jump, you don't really need them. The nice thing is that you can actually hang on to them and wall jump off of them, so that's a nice little thing. But we got the morph ball back. I should go on this side because I need to shoot those. So we're going to be heading back to the navigation room. and see what our next objective is. Samus, it's as I feared. The breeding environments have been invaded by X-parasites. Sector 1 SRX shows several abnormalities on biosensors. Sector 1 is a simulation of the SR388 ecosystem. To get there, take the main elevator to access the shaft and use elevator 1. Is your objective clear? Use the navigation room just inside for further briefing. I'm not sure, but I think whoever allowed the X into the environment may also be linked to the earlier explosion. So we got some good music here. The one thing I'll definitely give this game credit for is that the atmosphere is really good. So yeah, I'm not as big a fan of the whole linearity and kind of forced progression, but as far as the atmosphere goes, it's really great. That's a really nice looking door. I think that's going to be my favorite door. No, my favorite door! How could you? It was so young. You know, jokes aside, that was scary. You know, you really could have just opened the door like a normal person. We'll just have to wait to figure out what that is, though, because, you know, technically we don't know about it. Dramatic irony and all. So welcome to Sector 1. The main elevator leading to the access shaft has been severely damaged. It will be totally unusable for some time, unfortunately. Some unknown agent is at work. Something very powerful, certainly not human. I'll report when I know more. Now listen closely. The X in Sector 1 have invaded the atmospheric stabilizers. They must want to alter the environment to their needs. They are already reproducing. Clear all 5 atmospheric stabilizers to stop them. Now get moving. Okay, so another shout out to the music here. You know, this game does have some pretty good music. I'm gonna skip past that. I don't really need it. The general layout right there of the navigation room, save point, and recharge room will be pretty much the same in every sector. So you have all 3 of those right near the elevator that leads back to kind of the main hub. So that's our first atmospheric stabilizer. And you'll see as I go through here, the route through this sector is pretty streamlined. Okay, that was just rude. But in any case, you know, you have to go to the right here, which is technically not part of a loop, but you know, for the most part, it's just going to be one giant loop. Oops, that was a little bit awkward. So that's 2 out of 5. And now we're gonna head down to this door. We can't really get down to the area down there. I'm gonna try to jump over these guys and fail epically. Wow, that was terrible. Okay, so we're gonna head down. And unfortunately, the missiles really do not move as... Wow, there were actually like none of them on the right side there. And the missiles don't move too quickly, so I was trying to shoot a missile down and preemptively kill any of the space pirates that might have been there, but I didn't succeed. And I'm actually like really low on health, which is wonderful. Okay, one little detail that I want to point out, and I'll try to put a freeze frame on here, is that for those kind of X growths that are on the atmospheric stabilizers. Wow, I just ran straight into it and I didn't even jump. This is going well. But there's actually like a GameCube kind of hidden in the debris that makes up the atmospheric stabilizer. That's a cute little detail. And of course they're giving me the other kinds of ones. All right. We got more space pirates in this room. I failed to mention these kind of ladders on the walls. One of the things that you cannot do in this game that you can in Super Metroid and in Metroid Zero Mission is you can't single wall jump. You'll see you get forced away from the wall, and I fell down really far for no reason at all. But yeah, it's basically impossible. You can do it in tasks, but it involves like doing some morphing and shooting to kind of stall your momentum and allow you to get back to the wall. It's not practical for a human to do. Oops. So as a kid, I didn't realize that you could just jump up and grab onto that ledge. So when I fell down there, I actually went all the way back to the beginning of the area. All right, come on, work with me here. So you can avoid it one of two ways: either crawl back down the ladder or jump over it. So there's redxparasite number 2. So we got ourselves another mini boss of sorts. This is a different kind of Corex than the one that we encountered last time. So this one will shoot something at you whenever you shoot it, and you can only shoot it when the eye is actually open. And the reason it's a different one is because it's a beam Corex and not the regular kind. So all the ones that give you beam upgrades will be kind of like that. But the good news is that we have the charge beam now, which is going to make our lives a lot easier. This is actually probably one of the best charge beams in the series, as far as it does increase your damage output of your regular shots, as well as making your shots bigger. But another thing that it does is right when you fire it, there's a little kind of crescent that comes out. And that actually does additional damage. So if you do really close range charge beam shots, then you'll actually do a lot more damage. So it's really cool. So that is, I believe that was the last one of the atmospheric stabilizers, if I paid attention. Yes, it is. Okay. So we're all good on our mission in that case, but I did neglect to mention those directional gates that you can only open from one side, because that's what forces you to go through the loop in the order that you do, because there's going to be one coming up here, I believe, right here, or not. I'm dumb. All right. So we're gonna head back to the main navigation room. All right. So you can still pseudo screw attack in this game. So that's still back. So if you do a spin attack while you have a full charge, you can damage enemies. You're not totally invincible, but it does help. All right. So with that, I think I am going to end off this episode. So thank you very much for watching this first episode of Let's Play Metroid Fusion. I've been redxparasite, signing out.